What's going on, guys? It's Chris from GamerTech. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Today we're working with Intel. The new Intel Core Ultra series is out, so yeah, let's do this live stream. I'm super pumped. We're obviously going to be giving away a really nice high-end gaming PC for one of you guys, so make sure you stick until the end to find out how you can win it. Yeah, it's nice to see all of you guys. There's so many people. What's going on, guys? Tell me about your day. I'm kind of curious. I want to know more about your day, how you guys found out about the stream, and yeah, let's get into it. Do I see some familiar names in the chat? I think so. Redeemed all your emojis. Very nice, very nice. Zano, welcome back to the stream. Helloin, thank you. Everyone, very nice. Should we just get into it? Are you guys excited about building a PC as much as I am? Because I'm super pumped. Today we're rocking with the nicest, best parts. So whoever's gonna win this PC, I'm very happy for you. Congratulations, you got a dream gaming PC here. Yeah, so obviously we got the Ultra 9 285K. This is a fabulous processor. It's going to be the heart of our system, so we're really excited about that. Yeah, let me know throughout the whole build if you guys have any questions, if you want to know more about PCs, anything like that. I'm here to help. I'm happy to help. Yeah, so let's get into the parts. Let's talk about what we're going to use. Obviously, I already mentioned it once, but I'm going to mention it again. Intel Core Ultra 9 285K. This is a great processor, especially if you're doing gaming, multitasking, or any AI-powered applications. This is definitely a go-to processor. Besides that, we're obviously rocking the Z890 from ROG Strix. This, obviously, top tier motherboard. So that's going to be really nice. It's going to house all of our components. We got some 64 gigabytes of Kingston Fury RAM. 64 gigabytes. So if you're trying to live stream, multitask, video editing, whatever you guys want, this is it. What happened to Camille? Is he okay? Yes, Camille is still with us. He's still building PCs every single day. Hopefully he's going to come back to streaming. We have been a little bit busy, so it's nice to have Camille come in and build a lot of PCs. I guess some people already saw in the chat 4080 Super. That is exactly what we're going to be using. The ASUS ROG Strix 4080 Super. This is going to be an excellent card to pair with the i9 or the Ultra 9. So this is going to be super nice. There's not going to be any bottleneck issues or anything like that. So I'm going to save that for later, obviously. What else are we rocking? TRYX was really nice, and they gifted us a Panorama 360 millimeter AIO cooler. Awesome cooler. It has the little nice display that curves. You can kind of see more 3D images, which is really cool. 4080s in stock. So no, 4080s are not in stock anywhere. It was very hard to get it. Getting a lot of these parts nowadays, especially with the graphics card shortage, is a little difficult to say the least. But you know, on the bright side, if you are looking for a budget build, there's always the Intel Arc. It's a great GPU, especially when it comes to gaming, 1080p, even a little bit of 1440p action. So yeah, a lot of great parts to work with today. Do you guys want to start? You guys want to start building? Let's do it. Awesome. So when you're building, the first thing I like to do, obviously, we got to get the motherboard. The motherboard is where all the parts are going to sit right on top of it. Couple things that you can do. If you don't have a mat like this one, anti-static mat or whatever, you can always build on top of the motherboard box and maybe reuse the anti-static bag, put that on top of the box, and then just build on top of that. Now, luckily for us, we do have the anti-static mat, so we're just gonna plop that down, and we'll put the box off to the side. Just like that. So obviously the next thing, we're gonna admire the motherboard a little bit. It's really beefy. It has some amazing heat shields here, both for the M.2, VRAM sinks, everything. It's really nice board, this one. And it does even come with Wi-Fi 7. So if you have a Wi-Fi 7 compatible router, this is gonna work like a breeze. How is everyone? Clean. Gonna wait for the 60 series, some people are saying. Well, there's always next year. So if you can't get a 50 series today, might as well just wait it out. So Niam can sound loud, I remember that. Yeah, Niam is here with us today. Niam's actually in charge of the stream. He's bringing all this good transitions and everything like that. So yeah, thank you, Niam. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's get into it. So again, CPU is the next thing I always put into the motherboard. We got the Core Ultra 9 285K, an amazing CPU. So this, we're gonna drop it right into the motherboard. Now, a couple things to note when you're doing CPU installation. I often find that it is the scariest part of building a PC for a lot of new people, just because obviously there's like 1,700 pins that you can possibly bend. You bend one, you're gonna have to buy a new motherboard. There's no RMAing that, so be very careful, obviously. Intel's really nice, and they actually provide 2 indications of how to mount it. Number 1, there's little notches on the CPU that'll correspond with the notches on the motherboard. Those are really easy. You can just plop it down and you know exactly. Another way, you can tell by the writing. If the writing is facing down, the motherboard's facing down, it's the right way. If you see one where the writing is facing you and the motherboard's the other way, probably not gonna fit. And if it doesn't fit, don't force it. Don't force your motherboard to bend any pins or anything like that. Your poor motherboard, definitely not worth it. So we have the CPU here, and I'm not sure if you guys can see. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a close-up shot there. And there is 2 little notches on the right side that correspond with the notches here on the CPU. And you want to gently kind of hover over it, making sure that you're not misaligned. So once you kind of hover over it, you got a good idea, you just drop it in. Now, if it doesn't go in the first time, you could gently lift up the CPU and then rework it. But as you can see, my CPU is down, everything is looking good. Next thing, drop that little latch down, and just like that, you're gonna wanna take the little cover off, and yeah, we can just put this off to the side. All right, so now that we got the motherboard and the CPU in, I think we're doing a pretty good job. So let me see what the chat has to say. Let me know, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, please. I'm always happy to help answer anything. Yeah. Or maybe Niam. Niam, if you see any good questions, you tell me and I'll answer them. So ask some questions. Niam's gonna read them out to me, and we'll build. We'll kind of work together here. We're gonna build. You guys are gonna build a PC with me today. Figure out. Obviously, some of you may already know how to build a PC. Some of you guys might not. So if you've never built it, yeah. Is there a hype train going right now? Is there a hype train?
Lots of subscribers.
Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the subs. Thank you for all the follows. Yeah, if you have Prime, you get a free subscription with it, so you could always just hit the subscribe button.
So what's a good thermal paste?
Good thermal paste. Definitely, I mean, Arctic is really good, and there is a new company. I think they're out in the States. They're called Snowdog. They're good. Now, between all the different types of thermal paste, you're probably talking like 1 or 2%, or 1 or 2 degrees difference. So, I mean, any thermal paste is good, but personally, I think the Arctic, their thermal paste is really good. I think it's the MX5, MX4 or 5. They're really good. So, especially if you're trying to cool it down your CPU. Another thing about thermal paste too is if your cooler already has pre-applied thermal paste, that's generally enough. You never want to put too much thermal paste, because I always see whenever I'm doing a repair, somebody's overheating or whatever, I lift up their CPU cooler and I just see this pool of thermal paste. So definitely all you need is a small pea-sized amount, and that'll last you quite a long time. That's pretty good.
That was the next question. What pattern do you like for thermal paste?
Pattern. So there are some, one of my favorite TikTokers, obviously if you guys like PC, you probably know Mr. Yeaster. He does every single thermal paste pattern, and you can see what's the difference. Usually the X pattern works very well. Also just a small pea-sized dot on the CPU is generally enough. So I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say the X pattern is probably a really good one, especially if you're a new PC builder. Just don't go off to the edges. Try to keep it more centered because it's gonna spread out really nicely. And also, if you go and you make the X pattern and then the corners are a little too out, the thermal paste is just gonna go everywhere, all over the the CPU cover and all that. So yeah, all right, let's move on to the next component. For this, 64 gigabytes. So if you guys are live streaming, if you guys are besides gaming, multitasking, AI work, anything like that, 64 gigabytes is gonna come in clutch. It's an amazing amount of RAM. You'll probably never need more, at least in the next like 5 to 10 years. So 64 gigabytes, DDR5. Okay, this right here is, I believe, how fast is this? This is 6,000 megatransfers, so plenty fast. It's also got a CL count of 40, so not bad. This is definitely really nice, especially just having 64 gigabytes of RAM. This is a really nice addition to the whole build. Now, when adding your RAM in, it is very, very important. Follow these steps. Motherboards, they'll even list it right here. The first one is A1, second one is A2, and you got B1, B2. As a general rule of thumb, A2, B2 is the correct slot for where you want to put 2 sticks of RAM. If you have 4 sticks, you can always just populate all 4 of them, but if you have 2, A2, B2. Now, very rarely some motherboards will say differently. Check obviously the motherboard's website to see what they say, but generally A2, B2 is the best. So let's go ahead. You want to just get these little latches off to the side and align it just like so. I don't know if you guys can see this. Once it's in, but it's not fully seated, you want to take your thumbs, or I guess your pointer fingers, and one corner at a time. You should hear the click. If you don't, maybe you didn't put it in right. So watch. 1. See, I didn't hear the second click, but I know it's in because the latch is all the way closed. Sometimes you don't hear it depending on the motherboard. Also, when you're putting in fresh RAM, I will say fresh RAM versus RAM that's been in the socket for a long time, you will have to put a lot of pressure. And I know sometimes like it feels like you're almost breaking the RAM. So obviously don't put that much pressure, but it does require almost like a scary amount of pressure, I would say, just because it's a fresh RAM kit, it's never been installed before, so a little bit more pressure than you normally would if you're just quickly swapping RAM out of your own system that's been there for a year or two. So beautiful. RAM's in place, and maybe we can answer another one of your questions there. Is there any questions that you saw, Liam?
That's a good question. 1 second.
You guys gotta ask me some questions here. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. One person said to please increase the volume on his voice. Can you guys confirm? Is my voice a little too low? Yes. So in terms of the giveaway, I'm gonna be announcing how to win at the end of the stream. So watch the stream where, there is enough people in here, but there's not like thousands of people. So the odds of you winning the PC, pretty good. I mean, it's definitely, put it like this. You have a better chance of winning this PC than getting something like a 5090 right now. So the chances are there. You definitely have a good chance of winning this PC. And yeah, stay till the end, find out how.
The giveaway is open for 30 days.
Oh, and the giveaway is open for 30 days. So definitely there's enough time. Yeah, if you miss it, you can always just rewatch the stream and yeah. So let's get into it. Please show Liam. Liam, do you want to pop in and say hi? He's already in his chair. He's all headseted up. So maybe at the end of the stream he'll come say hi. Chris, if I should go with custom loops or liquid, generally AIO liquid coolers are a much better option. Custom looping, it's fun. It's a great hobby. If you're an enthusiast and you are ready to work on your own system, then maybe custom looping is for you. I generally tell all my customers, I try to push them away from custom looping just because it's a lot of maintenance. For one, you're gonna have to flush out your loop every 6 months. There's possibilities of problems, you know what I mean? Like, a tube can explode. You can have thermal expansion, a tube goes, and then you got liquid all over your system. I've seen it happen. Actually, one of our main builders, Travis, he had that problem where he didn't see that his temps were getting so high and one of his loops popped. And then luckily nothing happened to his parts, but custom looping is quite difficult, and unless you're ready to work on your own system, maybe I'd say stick with an AIO. They're leak proof. I haven't seen one of them leak, so they're pretty good. They're pretty reliable.
Where does GamerTech ship to?
GamerTech, we ship all across Canada, all across the US, and we even ship to the UK. So 3 places. We are hoping to ship worldwide. We've tried it. We've had some issues, but you know, there's always issues when you're shipping PCs across the world. You can have shipping problems. Sometimes shipping companies, they don't necessarily care how or what they're shipping, they just kind of throw it. So we've had some issues, but generally, as long as we're keeping it within Canada, US, it's been pretty safe. UK is also pretty good. So if you guys are ever in town or you know out of town but want a PC, we will ship to you. We do offer free shipping everywhere in Canada, US. So if you guys ever need a PC, you know where to come to. And let me see what else. For this giveaway, is it Canada only? No, actually this giveaway is for the US and Canada, and you must be 18 plus to win. So if you're not, ask your parents to join on your behalf. That way you can at least win something. But yeah, 18 plus, Canada and US exclusive. If you're not from Canada or US, I'm so sorry, we do giveaways worldwide, but this one is just exclusive to the US and Canada. So I guess let's move on, shall we? So the RAM is in place. The CPU is in place. The only other thing, actually for the motherboard, there's gonna be 2 more things to do. But the next thing I'd like to do is install the SSD. For this, we're rocking with WD Black. This is a 2 terabyte SSD. It's Gen 4, so it's ultra fast. If you're trying to load up games, load up Windows, whatever it is, it's really fast, it's efficient. So WD Black, 2 terabyte. That's gonna go underneath the heat shield. And I just wanna show you guys for reference just how massive this heat shield is here. I don't know if the camera does it justice, but it's here. Let me see if we can get a close up of this. Look at this, super thick. Your SSD is never gonna overheat with this. And here's another thing too. You see this little thing? I see so many repairs coming to the shop with this thing still attached. This is a little peel tab, and you wanna remove it because otherwise your SSD will maybe overheat. So let's get rid of this, and just like this. Now, the SSD, also if you wanna see over here, there is another peel tab on the motherboard. So there isn't just on the heat shield, but there's one here too. So definitely before you install your SSD, let's go ahead and just get rid of this. Let's remove it. This one's a little bit more tricky just because the heat shields are so big, so it's hard to get my hands through here. If you have smaller hands, it might be a little bit easier for you, but I'm unfortunately not that lucky. So I got these off. Try your best not to get the thermal pad on your fingers. If you do, you could just kind of get rid of it. But yeah, so everything is in. Now we're gonna move this and let's go ahead and install it. So with your NVMe, you're gonna see one side that's a little bit longer than the other. This is just a small little insert there. And you wanna make sure that you're not plugging it in this way or this way. Make sure it aligns with the motherboard. You can simply just go ahead and insert it. Now the cool thing with this motherboard, it is a toolless design. So just like that, it's in place. And here's another cool thing about the toolless design. Before you would need the M1 screwdriver, unscrew it all. This one, just go in here and done. It's as simple as that. And if you want to remove it, lift it up and boom. I will say I'm a really big fan of the new motherboards, especially when they are toolless. So yeah, this is an ASUS ROG Strix motherboard, ROG. So yeah, very nice. How do you enter the giveaway? Well, for the giveaway, please stay tuned. We are going to be giving away this PC right here. If you guys are interested, so again, Core Ultra 9, 4080 super high-end build for one of you guys. So, I mean, that's why we're all here. So thank you guys. Also, big shout out to Intel, because without them, none of this would be possible. So this giveaway is going to be an epic one. It's not going to be a budget build, a mid-range. This is a top tier build. So it's gonna be an awesome giveaway. So I'm really excited to be doing this, and yeah, I'm building your future PC, guys. So if you have any questions about it, about your future PC, let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to let you guys know.
Question in the chat.
Question in the chat.
Is it okay to use two sets of RAM from different companies or purchase separately?
So using two different types of RAM, generally if you're on DDR4, it's okay. It'll work most of the time. I mean, obviously check your QVL list on the motherboard's website. Generally for DDR4, it's fine to mix and match. I've seen people put 16 gigs with 32. Obviously it's okay. I mean, if you want the fastest, you just get a 2x32 kit or a 2x16 and you're golden. But I will say for DDR5, it's a little bit more complicated. DDR5 is a little bit more special. Not to say that it won't work, but I've seen a lot of issues with DDR5, especially if the timing's not right, or for example, it's too fast. Sometimes with Intel they like to cap it, or generally I would say with DDR5, just to be on the safe side, have the most stability, you want to make sure you have just a 2x32 or a 2x16 kit. Yeah, if you want optimal best performance, check the motherboard's QVL list. It's a great starting point to see what RAM will work well with the motherboard and the overall system. So yeah.
Another question: is it beneficial to have your operating system on a separate drive than your files?
So yes, if you guys have ever had a Windows PC, you've probably run into some corruption issues, blue screens, PC freezes, stuff like that. So what I recommend to people, if the budget allows it, get two M.2s. You can get one M.2 with like 250 gigs or a 500 gigabyte M.2, and you want to make sure you put your Windows operating system on that smaller SSD, and then keep all your games and your files on a separate one. Because if Windows gets corrupt and you need to reinstall Windows, you don't want to reinstall your games all the time. You don't want to have to re-download them. You don't want to lose your files or deal with corruption issues, and you got to transfer the data. It's too complicated. It's a mess. So I would always recommend get two SSDs if the budget supports, and keep the operating system on one. Now, people will say, what about a SATA? Can I get a SATA SSD, put Windows on that? You can, but if you're talking speed, get an M.2. M.2s now are super cheap. Back in the day, they used to be expensive, but now these guys are really not that expensive, and they're great. So M.2 all the way. Plus, another thing too, all the new motherboards come with at least 2, 3, even 4, 5 M.2 inserts. So you can have multiple SSDs easily, and it's much more efficient. I mean, if you don't want to be waiting like 5 minutes, letting your PC warm up, I don't know if anyone's that age, you'll probably remember, you gotta let your PC warm up for 10 minutes before using it, otherwise it's just not gonna work, it's gonna be frozen. So M.2s are great. Always install it on one, and then, or you can, I mean, technically you can partition your SSD if you really wanted to. If you got 1 terabyte, you can set aside 100 gigs or whatever for the operating system. But if Windows corrupts your actual SSD, then, so best practice, get 2 SSDs. So Valid question though. Thank you for asking that. What are the chances of winning this giveaway? Good or low? Obviously, I'm gonna go ahead and say you have a good chance of winning. Yeah, I mean if you're comparing actual numbers, it's probably gonna be like 1 out of 1,000. It's better than the lottery, which is like, 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. So, I mean, definitely. A lot of our giveaways that we do on this channel, I mean, they're pretty good chances, I would say. I'm planning on getting a 4 terabyte NVMe for my games. Yeah, I mean, 4 terabyte NVMe is a lot of storage. That'll probably last you, I mean, depending on how many games, what size, I mean, that's at least 40 games right there. Or maybe 20 to 40, 30, depending. I know Call of Duty games like those they're pretty storage intensive. They're like 250 gigs, 300 gigs. So, yeah. How old are you? I am 27. Yeah, turning 28 this year. I'm getting old now. So, when I first started the company, I was 20, 22, 23, 21? I don't know. 5 years ago, so I'd be 22 years old. Yeah, also need to replace my downloads drive. Yeah, for sure. I mean, corruption issues. If you've ever worked on a Windows system, you've probably encountered it. So, yeah. Are you guys hiring? We are actually. If you guys checked out our Instagram, we are hiring. Throw in your resume. We do ship outside of the USA. And what about 128 gigs of RAM? That's a lot of RAM. That's quite a lot of RAM. I mean, if you're doing things that require that much RAM, I've seen, architecture companies, people that are using workstations, servers, then yeah, you're probably gonna need 128 gigs. But if you're just gaming, you will not even use up half of that. So if you're gaming, even live streaming and gaming, generally the cutoff point's like 64 gigs. Like that's enough for everything that you're gonna do. Even 32 gigs right now is the new standard. 16 gigabytes used to be the standard back in the day, but now 32 is kind of like the sweet spot where it gives you enough, playroom to do everything that you need to do. And if you're really worried, don't go above 64. They even make a 48 gig if you're going, DDR5. So I think 64 is the cutoff point. Would you recommend a pre-build or should you build one? So it depends. If you're going GamerTech, always get the pre-builds. I mean, they're just a great value, great, system that when we build, we try to reduce bottlenecks, because a lot of people, when they're doing custom builds or they're choosing their own parts, I often find that they're not always getting the right parts or the best parts, especially for that budget. I always see bottlenecking issues where people are pairing a really nice CPU with a more mid-range entry-level graphics card or vice versa, and there's always going to be bottlenecks. So pre-builds, in that sense, when you're coming to GamerTech, they're all custom built by us, so we try our best to reduce any bottlenecks. You're not going to see any of that stuff. Also, when you're buying a pre-built, you really have to consider the fact that, for example, our company, it comes with a full coverage 3-year warranty, parts, labor, even PC cleanings, everything is included. So if you're looking for a headache-free experience, getting a pre-build is definitely the way to go. If you are the kind of person that is curious, you like to build, you like to, DIY, building a PC is also a great choice. I mean, it's a great experience, it's fun. I mean, it can be fun. If it doesn't go the right way, then it could also be, a little bit kind of scary, especially because you have such expensive parts. You don't want to, mess around with it too much. So I would always get a pre-built. But if you guys are interested in how to build your own PC, just wait. Soon we are launching our PC build series with Intel. So we're doing 3 different builds, mid-range, low-end, budget, and high-end builds. So we're gonna cover all the different topics. It's a whole PC build series with Intel that's gonna be on Intel's channel. So please make sure to subscribe if you guys wanna watch that. I'm gonna go over everything when it comes to picking the right CPUs, picking the right parts, everything like that. That's all gonna be there. And also, yeah, I mean, it's a great chance to learn more about the new Intel Ultra CPUs. I know maybe not a lot of you guys know just how powerful they really are, especially when it comes to AI, multitasking, workloads like that. So please make sure to check out our build series. It is coming out soon, so just subscribe for now and click the notifications icon so you get alerted when. Guys, I'm so sorry. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back. We are back. Had some freezing issues there. Right now we are working with very high-end equipment, so very sorry. Please bear in mind, just hang on. Don't leave.
Okay.
We're here. We're streaming. Don't leave. Yeah, the internet also, it could be our internet.
Go down now.
Yes, very sorry about that. Does sound keep breaking? I had Phoenix was saying sounds breaking.
Go back on. Flip this on now.
When you're gonna start to build? Well, very soon. I think we're back. I think we're
Yeah, we can get into the build.
I think we're good. Good. All right, let's continue. What did we do so far? Let's talk about it. So motherboard's in, CPU's in, RAM's in, SSD's in. The only other thing now that we have to do is attach a cooler. So for this, we're gonna be using something very special. Let me show you guys. This is TRYX Panorama 360mm cooler. This is brand new. It just came out, this new design. Something that is different than the old one is it has this little adjustable arm. So now you can see the screen like this. You can see the screen like this. You can see it in all different angles. So depending on how or where you want your tubes to be, you have a bunch of different options, which is absolutely incredible. Great design. And just because it has this curve, it makes the images or videos look a lot more 3D, if you will. Are we live? Are we still good? It's still cutting out. I'm so sorry. What's going on?
Ask people to refresh.
Tell them to refresh.
Guys, if it's lagging out, try to refresh. Yeah, try to refresh the screen or refresh your browser. We are good. You're good. Okay. Well, there's nothing to worry about. We're good. Yeah, really cool design. I don't think anyone on the market has this besides TRYX, so really cool. Let me get my mounting hardware from the box. So inside the box, little nice package, nice packaging. Leave that right there. So inside, we have a little back plate right there. What else do we have in here? Thermal paste, really cool. Now I will say we won't be needing this just because with higher end coolers, they generally have it pre-applied, which is really nice. It's evenly distributed. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's perfect amount. So we're gonna leave the thermal paste off to the side. I always keep this cover on until I plop the cooler onto the CPU. I have, you know, whenever I've had it off, I've accidentally touched the thermal paste and I've had to wipe it all off, add some new ones. So leave the little guard on, that's what it's for, so you don't get thermal paste all over your hands. And then obviously this is the back plate, so I lift up the motherboard, try your best to align it. Let's see if we can get this on. Now it's not only the stream that's having some technical difficulties, it's me too. So there are these little tabs that you can pull off a little bit. Sort of, not really. A little bit tight, but let's try again. Maybe I'll do it this way so you guys can see too exactly what I'm doing. So we got the bottom two in, top two. Come on. You never want to force it either, because if you force it, you can possibly ruin your motherboard or damage it. But once it's in, it should just slide right in. So don't force it. Don't put too much pressure, because Yeah, you don't want to be hurting your CPU. So just like so. Very nice. Now there should be some standoffs. We're not going to need this one, so I'll put this one back. Some of the things here we won't need. We will need these. We're going to need these at the end to attach the actual radiator to the case. And we have an ARGB splitter, which will go right into the end of the fans. Very easy cooler to install, I will say. It does come with like a hub, but you don't need it. So that's always nice. Less hubs, easier for the builder. So I really like that. Keep this off to the side. And yeah, let's do it. So this one comes with some little springs. Those are going to go just on the bottom there. And then we have the little screws that's going to mount the actual, that's going to hold the pump directly on there. So put that off to the side. I like to try to keep a sort of a clean, organized workspace. So I figure out what mounting hardware I need first, and then I put everything off, and then I mount the cooler. So another thing too, like this RAM box, I'm going to keep it in here. The SSD box, just to kind of clean up the workspace a little bit. Usually I always see new builders, everything is everywhere, and it's like almost like a chaotic kind of experience. So if you want a less kind of chaotic experience, then just try to clean as you go. It also makes everything at the end a lot nicer. So we're done. We have everything that we need here. I'm gonna put the box down and let's get started. So this is the point where you want to go ahead and remove the guard. Obviously don't keep the guard on. PC's definitely gonna overheat. Now for this, you have options. You can keep the tubes towards the bottom, keep the tubes like this, however you want. Now, generally, I'll keep them towards the bottom just because it makes the whole aesthetic look nicer after. If it's like this, you can kind of see how the tubes look a little tight there, but this way they have great flow. So just like so, you want to align it and just simply drop it down. Perfect. And it's on. Next, take these little screws here. Is this the right mounting hardware? I think this is, this may not be the right mounting hardware. Did it come with anything else? Let me see. I gotta check the box again. Usually it should fit perfectly. If there's even a little bit of a gap, just double check the manual. Make sure everything is there. So everything is, well, that's all that came in the box. Let me be right back. Let me see if I can find the correct mounting hardware. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. And we're back with the right mounting hardware. I'm so sorry for making you guys wait. As you guys know, this is a live build, so we may have some problems here and there. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for still sticking around. Some people are saying the audio is not that good, but you guys let me know. Let me know in the chat. Can you hear me properly? Is the mic too loud? Is the music too loud? We can always do adjustments. What do you guys think? Hello, hello. Good? Audio's perfect. All right, are you guys trolling me then? Don't troll me. If the audio's good, it's good. All right, so let's go ahead and attach everything. So for this, get the screws down, right mounting hardware. Make sure you have the right mounting hardware. Read the instructions, those are always good. Obviously, even if you've built a PC before, even me, I still read the instructions sometimes, especially if it's a new cooler or if it's something that, you know, I just want to double check. Just read the instructions, and that always usually saves you a lot of headache in the future. So I'm gonna get that. My last screw is here. So what I'm doing now is I'm finger tightening them. I'm not actually using the screwdriver just yet. I want to make sure they're all in place. And then always use a really good magnetic screwdriver. I use these, they're by LTT, Linus Tech Tips. I'm sure you guys all have heard of that. So great screwdriver, has to be magnetic if you're building a PC. If it's not, then it's going to be very difficult, especially if you're trying to put the motherboard into the case. So, when you are tightening a cooler, there is a special pattern that you do. It's called corner to corner. So I did this corner, now I'm going to this corner. And the reason why we do that is because it applies even mounting pressure to the actual CPU. If you're not doing it this way, you could cause some issues. So corner to corner, just like so. And another thing too is if you feel like it's tight where you could give it a little bit more, don't, because there's a good chance you're going to strip the screw. I have personally stripped a AIO screw, and the problem is these are very unique screws, so it's not like you're going to get a replacement or anything. Sometimes you might have to buy a new cooler or kind of jimmy rig something, but yes, if you feel like it's tight, don't over tighten it. You could strip the screw, so just be careful. All right, so cooler's on. Perfect. Another thing too that I like to do, the LCD, I don't put it on at this stage right now. The reason is when I lift up the motherboard, as you can see, I usually like to lift it up by the pump, and if you have this screen in the way, it's a little bit more difficult, and especially if you're building and you know your hands might be a little sweaty. Mine are good, but you don't want to touch all these fragile components, get your water all over them. So yeah, always when you're picking up a motherboard and you have an AIO or even an air cooler, just lift it like this. It's probably the safest way, in my opinion. So yeah, everything is done. This is how you build up the motherboard. You got the motherboard, you got the CPU, the cooler, the RAM, the SSD. Everything is on the motherboard, so there's nothing left that you have to do. When I first started building PCs, guys, very big mistake. I'm going to tell you this just so you can avoid the mistake. I started with the case. Then I put the motherboard in the case. Then I put the CPU in the motherboard, the RAM, everything while it was already in the case. You can do it that way. It's a lot more complicated. It's a lot harder to do. So save yourself the trouble. This is how a professional PC builder would do it. Motherboard first. I guess CPU, RAM, SSD, you can kind of do in your own order, whatever you want. I like to just put the CPU first, RAM, SSD, cooler, and then motherboard's complete. Once the motherboard is complete, I usually like to leave it off to the side, just like so. And we get ready for the case. The case is like the house. It's the house of the computer. It's where all the parts go in, everything, it sits there. So let's go ahead and get the case. I'm gonna try to tidy up my workstation just a little bit. I'm gonna put the screen down carefully. It is a screen at the end of the day. You don't wanna hit it, or damage it in any way. So there's that. I got a little bit of garbage here that I'm just gonna throw away. And are you guys ready? Do you know what case we're using? If they don't, do you guys know what case? Try to guess. Try to guess in the chat. We got a really nice case for you guys. I'm talking really, really nice case. What do you think it'll be? Let me know. Think of nice, really nice case. Oh, somebody already guessed it. Do they know?
It's in the description.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess there's no guessing. You guys can see the description. It's the ASUS ROG Strix Helios. Absolute marvel. Beautiful PC case. It is a little bit expensive, so maybe don't throw this in a budget build, but we're going all out for you guys. This live stream, we're building a super, super high-end gaming PC. So obviously, ROG Strix Helios, great house. It is a little bit big, I will say. If you're running with a smaller desk, it might be a little cumbersome. You might want to get something a bit smaller, but I mean, ROG motherboard, ROG Strix card, everything. So let's keep it with the theme and let's do it. Now, you have two options when you're putting the motherboard in. You can either put the tower down, which will be a lot easier. So for example, if you're just starting off building, case down, motherboard goes in. It's going to be a lot easier for you to screw everything in. If you're a pro, I mean, that's what I do. I'm going to do it while keeping this here. Cool thing about this case, you'll see the standoff here has a little bit of a, I guess it's a little bit taller than the others. What that does is it holds the motherboard vertically in case you want to vertically mount it. Plus, I think you guys want to see it. So if I was building by myself off camera, I'd put it down. It's a lot easier for the builder. But if you're trying to do a video or a live stream, you can always do it this way. So yeah. Any questions? Let me know, guys.
Someone asked about the AIO screen.
The AIO screen?
How does it connect? Like HDMI, and what can you display on it?
So the screen that's going to go for our AIO, it actually connects to the USB header on the motherboard. Cool thing about this motherboard versus other ones, this has 3 USB headers. Now, you might be thinking, what are USB headers for? Well, great question. It's for screens. It's for, a lot of the new fans, a lot of new products that are coming out for the PCs. They require the little USB hub, or like they have a little USB header that goes into the motherboard. So having more helps. Otherwise, most motherboards come with 2 USB headers, and if you have, let's say, 3 or 4 products that require a USB header each, then your motherboard has 2, but you have 3 or 4. There is a solution. There are USB splitters that we use quite often, especially because, we build the best. So a lot of the newest components that are coming out, we always include them in either our pre-builds or in our custom builds. And so because a lot of the new parts, they do require that, USB splitters are always great. My zip ties just fell. Zip ties are another amazing thing when you're building PCs. I love cable management. It's probably one of my favorite parts about building a PC. I love a nice, clean looking case. One thing I don't like is cables going everywhere, power supply, CPU up here, everything is like a disaster. So when I'm building, I like organized, beautiful system. It's not only beautiful on the outside, but on the inside it's super powerful. So that's what I like. One person said to GPU install at the end. Yes, always install your GPU at the end. When I first started building, I installed my GPU and then I did my cables. And you can only imagine how difficult it is to get all the cables in. So GPU, because it's large, it takes up a lot of space, it's at the very end. Even after you with your power supply, you take the GPU cable, you route it, and then you add your GPU. It just makes everything so much easier, so much faster. So definitely do that. YouTube tutorial. Yes, actually we do. We will soon on Intel's channel. You want to check it out, you want to subscribe, because I'm doing a full build series. I'm talking 3-part video explaining everything when it comes to how to build, some common troubleshooting mistakes, problems that people are having. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, check them out. All those are coming out. Also, just a quick little side note, I see here in the corner we're at 78 live viewers. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm so happy to see you guys here, and I'm really excited for one of you guys to take home this PC. What I'm building now is gonna go home to one of you guys, so super exciting. Yeah, and it's an amazing PC. I mean, we got everything. This PC has all the bells and whistles, has everything you would ever want in a PC, super fast, and like, yeah, I mean, it's rocking everything. So really excited, and I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and being here and watching. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you win a giveaway, do you guys include the 3-year warranty? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Yes and no. I mean, the parts themselves all come with manufacturer's warranty, and we will help you out. I mean, we've had giveaway winners in the past that have had problems, and we're never gonna turn someone away. So yes, technically it's not the same warranty in terms of like same day service, everything, but we will service if you have any problems with your parts or anything, we will take care of it. We're gonna, yes, so yes, it does come with the warranty. We're gonna help you out. All the parts come with warranty, so if there's any issues, we'll help you out, RMA that. So yeah. Building PC, different room. Yes, this is a different setup. It's a little bit different than what you guys are probably used to if you've tuned into our streams before. Windows 10 or 11.
What's this gonna have?
Oh, what's this gonna have? This is gonna have Windows 11 Pro. The Intel Ultra series definitely benefits from 11. The power and efficiency cores benefit from 11. But if you're asking me personally, I'm still rocking Windows 10. Don't judge me, but yeah, Windows 10, it's not going to be longer supported. So the big problem with that is viruses. If you guys have heard viruses, when Windows is no longer supported, it means that they're not going to come out with updates. So that's generally when all the hackers flood the gates and just release all the viruses because they know Windows is not going to patch it up anymore. It's kind of like a way to force people to go to 11. Obviously, if you're careful and you're not downloading anything that or going on sketchy websites or anything like that, then you should be fine. Like if you're just for example, you have Battle.net, Steam, and you're just downloading games and playing, you should be fine with Windows 10. I like the layout of Windows 10 a little bit more, but Windows 11 is our standard now. It's installed on all of our fully builds. With our custom builder, you do have the option between the two. But yeah, because Windows is not going to be supported for much longer, I would just upgrade to 11. And a lot of people I see having problems upgrading to Windows 11. It's just a little BIOS setting. It's called TPM 2.0 or TPM. As long as your PC is not like 10 years old, your motherboard should have that feature. So if you don't know, just watch a YouTube video or search ChatGPT. Great option. See how put your motherboard models. How do you enable TPM? So if you're trying to go to 11, yeah, but it's forcing people to go to 11, even though Windows 11 has a lot of issues. Every Windows has a lot of issues. Every single Windows since start. I mean, it's Windows at the end of the day. They're great, but it can have issues. I mean, yes, but the issues tend to get sorted out through updates. So yeah, do you guys do builds with dual GPUs? We've even done builds with 4 GPUs, 4 4090s before. Generally, people that are doing multiple GPUs, they tend to be doing workstations or heavy, CUDA-core intensive applications that require a lot of VRAM. Now, if you're gaming, you're not going to have any benefit from having 2 GPUs. It's not going to give you more performance, more FPS, none of that. So if you're just gaming, yeah, just stick to 1 GPU.
Having an Intel GPU as your second is great for streaming as well.
Yeah, so definitely, if you're trying to just live stream, the Intel GPU is great. But even for gaming, I mean, if you guys have seen any of the reviews online for budget builds, the Intel GPU is great. It's actually one of the best GPUs out there for budget gaming. So if you're ever on a budget and you want to go brand new parts, 100%. Get the Intel Arc series. You know, it's phenomenal phenomenal GPU. Especially if you're pairing with an Intel CPU, you're gonna get more performance. But yeah, check out the reviews online. If you don't believe me, great GPU, especially if you're looking for a bang for your buck kind of system. Any other questions that you saw, Liam?
If I move a hard drive to a new PC, will it work fine? Will there be any issues?
Well, if you're taking an NVMe, let's say with Windows and all your files, and you're transferring it to a new system, you have a chance of corruption. The reason is, old systems, for example, you're rocking this system, and you install all the drivers for ASUS, all the chipset drivers, everything, and then you're switching platforms or whatever, you can run into some issues. It's not for everyone. Some people don't have issues at all. Some people have corruption, so yeah. Thank you, Liam. Thank you for that amazing question. And thank you, chat. So, the last giveaway had 15 people in it. That's what I'm saying. You guys have great odds. I would 100%, if you're already here, sign up for the giveaway. I mean, your odds are great. You definitely do have quite a good odds there. One person's asking, should I upgrade my 3080? That's a good question. I would say no. I wouldn't upgrade a 3080 just because unless you really want the best experience, you want to go 4K gaming, super high FPS, then you could, but I mean, I personally don't run any games that are that intensive, so I would be happy with the 3080. How do I sign up for the giveaway? Stay tuned. I'm gonna let you guys know all the secrets, all the details at the end of the stream, and that's how you can win. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. You know, we only got about an hour left of the stream, and then the wait's gonna be over. You guys are gonna know exactly how to win it, and the odds are in your favor. So yeah. Should you get 16 gigs VRAM GPUs now? I mean, you don't need it. No, definitely don't need it. Even 8 gigs, 12 gigs is fine. It depends, right? Like if you're doing 4K gaming, yeah, you probably want a 16 gig card. If you're doing 1440p, 12 gigs fine. 1080p, 8 gigs is perfect. So just for reference, if you're doing, you know, budget gaming, the Intel Arc has 12 gigs of VRAM. So if you're doing 1440p or 1080p, great option. I would always go for the Arc GPU. So yeah, I mean, 16 gigs is more than enough, but even 12 gigs is perfect. I mean, unless you're trying to get like top 4K, ultra wide, 200 FPS, but who really needs that nowadays? Ultra 9 crazy, for real. That's what I'm saying. This build is rocking the best of the best parts. We got only high-end parts in this build. Ultra 9, come on. You got the best of the best. Great GPU, great CPU, great motherboard, 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe. Whoever is winning this is definitely going to be a lucky guy or gal. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm really excited. If I was going to win this PC, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. You're set for at least 7 to 10 years without needing any upgrades. If you wanted to upgrade, you could, but no need. What do you even upgrade? Such a good system. No upgrades needed. How does the Ultra 9 compare to the 13th and 14th gen? That's a good question. So when it comes to the 13th and 14th gen, or even the 12th gen, that's when like we started noticing the performance and efficiency cores, and we really started kind of seeing the power of Intel. Like, just for example, you have an i5 14600K. Now you think, oh, i5, it's more entry level, but no, the i5 is so powerful from the 14th and 13th gen that it's like, you don't really need more than that. Even if you're doing 2K, 4K gaming, I mean, they did such a great job, especially like when you're comparing prices. The i5 is very affordable, and it's got like 20 cores. It's super efficient for the price. It's great. Now the Ultra 9, One of the cool benefits of these is that it does do really well when it comes to AI powered workloads. So another cool thing too is it's on the new generation CPU platform. So for future upgrades, it's a great way to get into the latest and greatest. A couple cool things about the 13th, 14th gen that I'm really happy about is they do support DDR4 motherboards. So if you're switching over to the 13th or 14th gen and you have DDR4, you don't necessarily need to buy new RAM, any of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like it. So I think it's a, there are some differences for sure, but yeah. One person I see is asking me to continue building, so I guess let's start. I don't want to build too fast because we have about an hour left, so I'm trying to answer as much questions as you guys have. Please let me know if you have any questions. The rest of the build, it's not going to take too long. We're just going to screw the motherboard in, get the power supply, GPU, some fans, but let's start building. You know what? Let's build. That gives you guys enough time to start asking more questions, and Lian's going to kind of sort through which questions, and yeah. Zano said, can you tell Chris if he's starting? Yes, I'm gonna start building. So let's get into it. A couple things too. I kind of forgot about this, not really, but sort of. You can do it when the case is in or whatever, but if you want to come see a close-up, this is pretty important. So you'll see the pump has its own, I guess, fan header, if you will. And the motherboard has a bunch of different places that you can put it in. Some people might assume, oh, it's a CPU, let's put it into the CPU fan header. Well, that could work, but your pump's not gonna run at 100%. If you're running AIO, you always, especially if you're running like a high-end board like this, it has a specific slot that says AIO pump or CPU opt. So you can see here, this one is the CPU fan, CPU opt, AIO pump. You can either plug it into AIO pump if you have that. If you don't, put it into CPU opt. Now the reason you want to do that, it's an AIO. The pump should be running at 100%. Otherwise, it's gonna start heating up a little bit because CPU fan header by default on the motherboard BIOS, it's not always at 100%, so you gotta manually change it. If you don't want to worry about manually changing BIOS settings, put your AIO into CPU opt or into the AIO pump header. That's just the way to do it. So that's done. Now let's go ahead and put the motherboard into the case, shall we? I'm grabbing it by the pump, and I'm going to try my best to get it in. I don't know if you guys want to see a close-up shot of this. This is the standoff that I'm talking about. It's right here in the middle. It's going to hold the motherboard in place vertically. So what I do, once I kind of get this angle, I look through the I/O shield right here, and I align it just like so. Once I see that the I/O shield's aligned, you want to make sure that don't do that. You can see that it's on the standoff right there, and you can kind of let go. It's going to be fine. But if you're building alone, just lay the case down. But for obviously, for aesthetics, we're going to go for it. You know what I need? I need some case screws. That's always nice. This case does come with them, but I think it is in the box. Let me check. I have some screws here as well. These will work. Do me a favor. So you could use something like these power supply screws, but because we're obviously building a professional build, we're not going to use those. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to go grab the screws from the case, and we're going to properly use the right screws. I mean, you could use, power supply or GPU screws, but if you guys don't mind, give me 2 minutes. I'm going to get the right screws, and I will be right back. And I am back. I have the right screws. Now, you could use the other ones, but obviously I like to do a professional job, so I got the right ones that come with the case. And let's do it. I am a little bit out of breath. I had to go find the case screws, so let's go ahead and screw it in. Now, let's start with the middle. So the middle one, since it's holding up the motherboard, go ahead and screw that in. Now remember what I said, magnetic screwdriver. I can hold up all of the screws at once. Usually if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, it's gonna take you hours to build. So get a magnetic screwdriver and let's go ahead and get all the motherboard screws in. From my time working on PCs, repairing PCs, I've seen a lot of people add like one motherboard screw. It's like just screw all of them in, you know? Even if you leave one without it, you always have a chance of shorting your board. I've seen it happen before. So, screw it in. There's only 9 screws. If you're building a nice PC, just do it. Got 3 in so far. Beautiful. Does the chat have any questions while I'm screwing this in? Yeah. See anything good?
Is this the most expensive build you've ever done?
No, unfortunately. This is a great build. This is very high end, but no, if you guys really want to know the most expensive build we ever done, it was like $40,000. It had 4 4090s at the time. Super high end build. It also did have the i9 14900KS in it, so it's top of the line. Like, yeah, we've done some crazy builds here at GamerTech. So there's definitely not the most expensive, but it is up there. It's up there.
Zane does keep up the good work.
Who?
Zane.
Oh, thank you, Zane. Yeah, Zane's one of our biggest fans, so it's always nice to see you on the live stream, Zane. Thank you so much for coming out and watching the stream. Alright, so we got all the screws in. I always like to leave this for later. Don't throw this out because you never know. You know, you want to make some upgrades to your case, you want to check it out or do whatever. This has a bunch of other cool accessories, some extension cables in here, more zip ties, some SSD trays, all that good stuff. So that's everything in here. I'm going to keep it off to the side. And we will be including this for the giveaway winner in case you ever want to make any upgrades. So I'm going to keep this off to the side for now. And that's it. Motherboard's in. Beautiful. Now this, what I'm going to end up doing is at the very end, I'm going to route the AIO cable through the back, makes it a little bit cleaner. That's it for that. Easy peasy. Next, what do you guys think is next? Power supply. Let's get the power supply. Come on. We're rocking 1,000-watt ROG Strix power supply here. Really nice design. Beautiful design. It's got the honeycomb mesh, braided cables. Like, you can just tell right off the bat, the quality on these cables. It's not the ketchup and mustard, you know, yellow red cables. This is very nice. They did a great job. It also comes with a ARGB. You might be thinking, what's this cable for? ARGB, it's to control the LEDs on this. You can do it through the Armory Crate software, and this has RGB in it, so you can control all of that. Looks super clean. So let's go ahead and keep this here.
One question.
Yeah.
How do you know how much wattage you need for the PC or how much wattage for the PC?
So wattage, very important. You definitely don't want to have too much or too little. I mean, you could have too much if you really want a high electricity bill, but kind of getting the sweet spot is ideal. Also another thing too is having enough headroom for future upgrades in case you are planning upgrades. Having more wattage gives you that little bit of headroom. Generally speaking, this is general. Now 850 watt gold is more than enough for most people. Even if you're rocking a 4080 Super, 850 it's good enough. I mean, it's kind of on the line for that kind of a build, but 850 watt is more than enough. 1000 watt is great, especially for things like this, a 4080 Super. It's got enough headroom, you know, future upgrades, all that good stuff. If you really want to go crazy top line, 1200 is great, more than enough. 1300. If you're rocking 2 GPUs, you can actually check out the one of the episodes that we're going to do. We featured the MSI 1600 watt power supply, and it has 2 600 watt PCIe cables for your graphics card. In case you want to do a dual GPU, 1600 watt power supply is going to be great, and especially if it has the 2 600 watt connectors. So check out that video on Intel's channel when it comes out. But for this build, 1000 watt is more than enough, and it even gives you that headroom in case you ever plan on doing any future upgrades. 1000 watts, perfect. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna turn this PC towards you guys so you can see a little bit better. So you can see here, it does come with a little bit, this little plate that's gonna hold our power supply. Now, power supply, you'll see it has a fan. This is what cools the power supply. You can either have the fan facing up towards the parts, which is not a good idea, or you can have it facing down towards the air vents here, which is going to push all the hot air from the power supply out of the case and not into the case, causing more overheating issues. And especially it's right below your GPU, so I mean, you're just going to feed it hot air. So always fan facing towards the bottom. Some cases have, you know, side mounting, in which case you're going to keep the fan towards the back of the case. So let's get this on. You can see here all the screws should align, or if they don't, like in this case, flip this around. And now they align perfectly. So there is power supply specific screws that you use. They're the same ones as the GPU. So we'll get that on, line it up. And let's screw it in. We're doing all 4 screws. You don't want to cheap out on the screws. If you're gonna do 2, just do all 4. Don't, you know, I always like to keep everything perfect. So always do all the screws, 1 corner at a time. Beautiful. Now for this part, I may have to come around to you guys, just so I can get the power supply in nicely. Hello. All right. You guys see me okay? Yeah. So with this case design, usually you would put it through the back. It's easy, it's normal, but this case is a little bit different. Not crazy different, but a little bit different. So cables will go in first through here, just like so. And then you want to pull that into the case. And boom. Power supply is now in. And we're gonna use our 2 screws. And I'm just gonna hand tighten it, you know, in case I wanna take it out later or whatever the case is. But you don't really need to use a screwdriver for this part. So now you see here, let me turn this around for you guys a little bit better. AIO, don't mount it until you put the CPU cable. So you see up here, this is where your CPU cables are going to go from the power supply. What do you think will happen if I mount the radiator first and try to add it in? Oh no, there's no space. So keep your radiator off to the side until you put your CPU cables from the power supply into the case. It's going to save you so much time, so much headache, and you know, especially because PCs are, you know, they have metal parts. I always cut myself by accident, so be very careful for one. But to save yourself the trouble and headache, get the CPU cable first. So this is how I see PCs come into the repair shop. Cables like this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let me show you guys something. In case you don't know, there's all this space here. What do? Take the cables and put them to the back. A PC should be like a mullet. Party in the back, clean in the front. Keep that in mind. Make sure your PC looks absolutely stunning in the front. If you want to kind of skimp out on the cable management, at least put the cables to the back, make the PC look clean. But me, I'm going to do some cable management, and I'm going to show you guys how I cable manage too, just so you guys get an idea. But first things first, cables through to the back. Now I'm going to organize them a little bit because they are a little bit tangled up here, but that's not a problem. Perfect. So we got everything here, and I'm just going to do a little organize, perfect. Now I'm going to need your help here. How are we going to do this so that you guys can see perfectly? I'm going to turn it around. All right, that's what we're doing. I'm turning it around. This is a heavy case. Very nice, a little bit heavy. So, all right, this is what we're working with. We'll come back around to you guys. So, I guess technically, doesn't really matter which one's first, as long as they're all in. This is the 24 pin. It goes directly into the motherboard. So let's do this. I'm going to show you where they all go, and I'm going to flip the case around, and I'm going to plug everything in. Motherboard, 24 pin, up here. So let's go ahead and route that already there. Next, CPU. We have 2. One will work, but 2 is great if you're planning on doing any overclocking or anything like that. You need more power delivery. That's where you're gonna add 2. Technically, PCs would be fine. It'll work just with 1, but you know, in case the winner wants to overclock, which don't do it. Don't do it. It's already an Ultra 9, super fast CPU. Don't overclock it. It's not going to get you like 200 FPS more in the game. So you already got an Ultra 9, super fast, super powerful. Don't need to, you know, overclock it. There's no point. I never overclock my systems. You can, but I don't do it. So CPU cables, they go up here in the top right of the case. So let's go ahead and I'm just routing them for now, just to make everything a little bit easier. You may need your second hand here, just to pull it. It's a little difficult here. Let me hop around. I almost got it. There we go. There's one.
First time?
First time building, yeah. Wow. Fun fact, these cables are just long enough to fit. If they were even a millimeter shorter, we'd have some problems. But luckily, ASUS, obviously, they designed the case, the power supply, so it should fit. Almost knocked down the beautiful box, so I'm gonna leave that. And this right here is a 600 watt PCIe cable. This power supply is ATX 3.1 compatible. If it said 450, might not be enough power, so always make sure if you're rocking like a super high-end GPU like this one, it should say 600 watt right on it. If it says 450, it'll still work, but 600 watts the preferred better version. So this, we're gonna route through here. I'm just gonna leave it out. Okay. Now, I will have one SATA. So SATA will go right in here. Now, what I usually like to do, before I start zip tying, connecting, get everything in, and then zip tie at the end. Another thing too is, these cables, they can be like this, all tangled up. Don't do that. Make sure all your cables are untangled and everything is split up, because at the end, it's gonna look so much better. Like you see this one. With all these cables, don't tie it. If you see any overlapping, get rid of the overlapping. Just make sure they're all nice and clean, tidy. Boom. Now, let's go ahead and flip the PC around, just to show you guys. Good. I'm coming back. All right. So, I don't know if we have a light. Can you guys see okay? Do you guys want a flashlight? Oh, actually, yeah, the close-up camera is fine. All right, so let's do it. So let's start with the 24 pin. That goes right into the motherboard here. You should hear that little click. And then with the rest of the cables, just tuck it behind. And now here's the CPU. See, this is what I was talking about when it's a little too tight, but it, you know, it's just long enough to fit in there. If it was any shorter, we'd have some technical difficulties. So let's get that next one in. And again, the second CPU cable, just for extra power delivery, but we're gonna add it in anyways. All right, so motherboard, CPU, and here's the GPU, which I'm gonna leave it till the very end. Everything else is routed behind. Now let's do the other one. So the next cables that we're gonna connect is the I/O from the top. So you have USBs here, you have four USB-A, one USB-C, you have a headphone, mic jack, all that. So in order for these to be functional, we will need to connect stuff to the motherboard. So let's start. First, what should I connect first? Let's do everyone's least favorite first, which is the power. So right here, we'll run it with this. So you'll see all these different connectors here. You have reset, the power switch, and power LED plus minus. Those will go into here. Some builders like to show off, you know, the little writing, put it here, but if you've been building for a while, you know the proper way is writing facing down. So those power plus minus will go into the first two. So just like so. All right. Next you have your power and reset. Reset goes on the bottom two, and then the power goes at the top two. Just like that. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, next we're gonna do the USBs. So you'll see here I have one port and I have another port here. So in cases like this, with this case, it supports two, motherboard also supports two, so we are great. I'm gonna come around, just grab these here. sorry for the delay here, guys. I am just trying to get everything nice and organized and nice and neat. The one thing I don't like is an unorganized, messy PC. Especially if it's built by us, it has to be professional, it has to look nice. I don't care, make it look nice, especially if it's from us, we have to. It's a must, it's a must. We love clean, organized cables. So, put the first USB in. This part is very dangerous, not dangerous, but it's so fragile, all these little pins, and you know, I've seen people bend them all the time, and if you bend them and the two little wires are touching, that's when you get USB overcurrent detected. So don't overcurrent your motherboard. If you're not confident, don't push. Make sure it's fully aligned, and then push. So you can see here, even me, I'm taking my time. You know what, just to be extra safe, Lian, do you have a flashlight I can borrow? Thank you. All right. So. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. You gotta make sure you get it in. Perfect. There we go. It is kind of scary, even for me. I always sometimes, depending on, because you see how tight the space is right there. So be very careful with that. I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze the other one in. I may have to remove one of these SSD trays in the back. Thank you. So here's the second one. This is going to be a lot more difficult than the first, I will say. The motherboard design is more so meant for cases that have this part a lot more open, but we're still going to try our best to get that in. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. It's in. Whew. I'm already sweating. I'm telling you guys, the USBs sometimes, they're the most tricky thing. I'm already hot from this. Okay, so that's in. Hard part's done. We're done all the hard part. From now, it's just smooth sailing, easy breezy, lemon squeezy, super easy. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the USB-C. Did I tell you? Okay, come check this out. So the two cables that I just plugged in, that's gonna allow these USBs on top to work. So one of the cables is for these two, the other cable is for this. The next thing that I'm going to use is USB-C that goes into the motherboard. It's going to allow this to work. So if those two cables weren't plugged in, PC would still function normally, it'd still work properly, but the USB-A on the top won't work. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Next we're going to do USB-C.
We have a question here in the chat.
What happened?
Does a larger case mean cooler components?
Yeah, I mean, generally, yeah. But if you have a small or, yeah, I mean, like if you're doing small form factor, those are gonna get hot. Obviously, more space, it's gonna be cooler. But if you have a proper fan setup in like a mid-size case versus this, we're talking to like a couple degrees difference. So yes, their case is better for cooling, but not drastic. Like if you have this case with no fans versus like a small case with with proper fan orientation and proper fans, then yeah, I mean, that's what matters more. But having a bigger case will help with airflow.
That leads to the next question. How do you know if you should do intake or exhaust?
Intake versus exhaust, good question. So, general rule of thumb, okay? Front, intake. Why? Pulling in air versus throwing it out. So, here's how the orientation works. As long as the top should always be exhaust. Why? Great question. So, top should always be exhaust because hot air rises. So when hot air rises, you don't want to be sucking in fresh air while hot air is rising and then everything is getting trapped in the middle. So front should be intake, bottom should be intake, top should be exhaust, and the back here should be exhaust. That's just generally the rule of thumb. Now, some people have a case that supports side-mounted fans. You technically, as long as you have the other fans in the right orientation, there's no really right or wrong answer. Some people will say intake, 100% has to. And for the most part, they are right. If you don't want so much dust coming into your system, it's better to have positive airflow. So keeping the side as intake, generally how we do it here at GamerTech, it's the more preferred method. But if you have fans that look really cool, but they don't look cool if they're intaking, then it's not going to be the end of the world if you keep these as exhaust. So yeah, the side you can kind of play around with it, it doesn't matter too much, but front intake, top exhaust, back exhaust, bottom intake. Yeah. Alrighty. Now let's move on to the USB-C. Just gonna quickly connect that. Sorry guys, I just seen we're gonna have to go a little bit faster. So I will say this case is a little bit tight here to work with, but we're gonna manage it somehow.
You could roll it down if you want.
No, it's actually, it's better probably sitting down, but all right, next, HD audio. HD audio is associated with the front I/O with the headphone and microphone jack. So if you want those to work, HD audio has to be plugged in. And we got two ARGBs. So we're gonna do, there's an ARGB from the power supply, which is gonna go here. Very nice. And an ARGB that may not be long enough to connect here. So I'm gonna see where else we have ARGB. Maybe if I can run it through here. And that'll be long enough, just barely long enough. Oh. I'm gonna get it. There we go. Niam's like whispering, you can leave it out. No, no, no. This is a GamerTech Intel build. It's gonna be done right. So that's there. Perfect. And that concludes all of our plugging components in. Let's go ahead and flip this case around. Give me 1 sec. Okay, let's flip it around. Give me 1 second. There's just the SATA tray here that's kind of in the way. Good. All right. Let's get it done. All right. So now we have our trusty zip ties. So you can see there's not enough slack. If there was more slack here, you would generally do some zip ties right onto the case there. But here, it's definitely a little bit challenging, and I don't want to put too much pressure on these, especially because they're quite tight. So I'm probably gonna leave these, like, I can zip tie them together to make it nicer, but I'm not gonna zip tie them to the case because, well, there's nowhere to put it on the case right now. So let's just zip tie them to make it a little bit neat. I'll do 3 zip ties. One at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. Alright, looks like we have another SATA here that I missed, so let's go ahead and connect that SATA. Just like so. This. Okay, now for this part, we can open these up here. It looks a little bit messy right now, but don't you guys worry, we're gonna fix that all up. So we'll start at the top. Let's just get it there for now. I will use a zip tie here. Also, let me know if there's any questions, you know? If you see anything good.
Is it bad to keep the case glass off for more airflow? Or should you put the side panel on?
So, that's a great question. Generally speaking, keeping, like, if you don't have proper fan orientation or you don't have any fans in your system, leaving the glass off is fine. It will collect more dust, but it'll prevent your parts from overheating. If you have proper fan orientation, and I'm talking like fans at the front, top, exhaust, everything, then leaving the glass off might be a little bit detrimental just because there's no pressure in the case. So the whole point of having the glass and all the fans in the right orientation is that air flows properly. As soon as you take the glass off, even if you have proper fan orientation, it's not gonna do anything. Audience chat, how do you feel about cable management? Do you guys want to see it, or should I do it after? You guys let me know. What are they saying, Liam?
It's a mixture breed. Some like it, some say move on. A bit of both.
Alright, let's get these on. These are the little Velcro straps. Beautiful. Very nice. Alright, now we can zip tie these. So the bottom, just like so. Let's see how we're going to make this the nicest. I think starting off here. Perfect. And what I usually like to do is I start at the top. See, this is where the bundle starts, and this is where kind of a connection is. So I'll move on to that part. Just like so. This is another connection, so I'm going to zip tie it again here. Beauty. And this, probably put that here. And just do a nice little fold. And get the last zip tie on there. Look how nice that looks. Much nicer. It's a lot more organized. And next, always have a pair of wire cutters, zip tie cutters. Don't use scissors. You just end up breaking your scissors over time. These are actually built for zip ties. So clip everything. And I usually like to hold them in place because if you go one by one, you're just going to be sitting there for some time. Just like that. Boom. Looks great. I'm going to throw these out. And this one, I mean, you could just tuck it here. You can put it here. Maybe not here, but I think here looks great. So I'm just going to tuck it neatly underneath. Now, what do you guys think of the cable management? On a scale of 1 to 10. If these were a little bit longer, I can make it nicer by putting it here, but I don't want to put too much pressure on them. Let me know what you guys think. Not bad. Not bad. 8.5. One guy said 11. Thank you. I appreciate you for 11 out of 10. You rock. 100. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alrighty. So now, let's go ahead and flip this around. And we still have our radiator that we have to mount. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so you'll see one end of it here. This controls all the RGB on all the fans because as you can see, they're all daisy chained to each other. So this end right here will connect to this end of the ARGB splitter. Oh. Did I get that right? There we go. So now it's connected. And all I have to do is one fan, one ARGB. Simple. So now you could be, now here's the thing. You might be able to put it this way. You can put it this way. Which way would you guys think? This way, with all the cables looking towards you, or this way, where we can hide the cables? We're gonna hide the cables today. So this long end, we're gonna put it through the top first. And you can see with my other hand, I'm just kind of dragging the cable, just like so. Take these, and then also this one, we're gonna run it there. And then we're just gonna prop it up and we can start screwing it in shortly. Cool. So these are the screws for it. I'm just gonna put it down for a quick second. We're gonna take our radiator screws out. Very nice. I'll grab my other screwdriver. Let me just see how magnetic that is. Look at that. Find me a screwdriver that can hold 12 screws at the same time. Okay, so I don't know if you can get a top angle of this, might be a little challenging. So we're going to start with one corner at a time. The reason I say one corner is because as soon as you get both corners, you can easily just let go of the radiator, kind of like I'm doing now, and put that one there. Very nice. That's easy. And the rest are just easy. The radiator is already in place. You can put any of the screws in, just like so. Any other questions you found, Liam?
What screwdriver is that?
This is Linus Tech Tips LTT screwdriver. I have about 5 of them.
Another question.
Yeah.
Will you need additional fan controllers or splitters for the Lian Lee fan?
Yes. For the Lian Lee fans, you will need a controller hub that comes included with every 3-pack. If you're buying a single, you're going to need to buy that controller. So usually if you're like kind of more new to building, I would say try to find fans that have ARGB or ARGB splitters. That way they can just go right into the motherboard. No USB needed, no nothing. It's a lot more smoother of an experience. But yes, for the Lian Li fans that we're going to be using, we're going to need that USB hub. But this case comes with plenty of USB, so nothing to worry about on that end.
Someone asked why no drill today.
Why no drill? Well, so chat doesn't get mad at us. We're gonna use a hand screwdriver. It's technically, if you want to speed things up, yes, using a drill will be a lot easier. Don't drill the motherboard, but everything else like the radiator, the power supply, it's fine, no problems. It just makes everything faster and doesn't make your hand cramp up, your wrist. So especially if you're doing like 10 builds a day, using an electric screwdriver is going to save you quite a lot. So yes, that's just why we're not using it today, but in general it's perfectly fine to use. I like using them. Now we're going to put the top back on and boom, 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 the radiator's in. Okay, what's next? Let's see. All right, let's add the Lian Li fan. Since we're talking about fans, since we're on the topic of fans, Lian Li SL120. We're gonna be taking off the front fans. Now, should I leave it up to the chat if they want do you guys want to see the RGB fans or leave the non-RGB fans in the front? What do you guys think?
Same, put them in.
Put them in. All right, let's put them in. Now, having them in, it's going to give it a beautiful, beautiful aesthetic. So, really nice RGB. This case is pretty simple to just switch out the fans. So you can see here, there's this little fan holder. So I'm just gonna open that up a little bit. Now the fans are connected, so in the back, I don't know, can you come around to the back? No? I'm gonna move the PC case. All right. So over here, these are the pre-installed fans. So let's go ahead and just cut these. Oops. Okay. And so there's 1, 2, and 3 from the front. This one here is for the back fan. So we're gonna leave that alone. And just try to get these out. Perfect. So now, what we can do, the fans come right off, making this a lot easier when it comes to switching them out. So let's go ahead, get the PC tower off to the side. That way you guys can see exactly how I change out the fans. So this is how we're gonna do it. Just like so. This is intake. Or sorry, this is exhaust, this is intake. How you can tell, you have the fan grill here. Unless they are reverse fan blades, this is how they work. You see the grill? It means they're pulling in air. If it's like this, it's pushing air down. So because it's the front, we're gonna mount it like this. And I'm probably gonna wanna keep the cable towards the top because there's more space to cable manage it that way. So let's go ahead and do it. Oh, and whoever the lucky guy or gal that wants this PC, let us know if you want us to include these. Maybe you can use the fans for your next build. I'm going to take off the screws. So yeah, things like fans, you know, if you ever do have that electric screwdriver or the DeWalt, these are great to use in situations like this for fans, radiators, power supplies. The only thing I wouldn't ever use it on is things like the motherboard or anything like that's a more sensitive component. You want to try to use the manual one. It's a lot better, and you don't want to short. I have seen one person came in, said that they used the electric, you know, the big DeWalt on the motherboard, and then they shorted it. So, you know, obviously in that situation, you want to definitely avoid it. So here's all the fans. Let's take the cables out. Perfect. And let's get these off to the side for now. Okay, all of our screws are here. And the cool thing about these Lian Li is that they hook up together. So you only need one cable to power, to light them, and you know, you don't have to go one by one. They're already here, they're in place. I'm gonna put that down. And this, there's an actual guard here, so you can wire it through there. Just like so. Now we want to line it up. Looks great. And let's screw it in. I always do one corner at a time just because again, it holds everything in place. So we'll do this corner first. We're going to do the bottom corner here. Now technically, for my friends who are, you know, they don't want to screw everything in, technically this works, but not proper PC building tips. So for proper PC, you want to make sure all these are in place, especially because fans are spinning at such high speeds. If you only screw in two corners, you never know, maybe one of the bearings can get loose over time. So to keep your fans happy and the bearings well, go ahead and screw everything down. Chat, what do you guys think? Chat, tell me about your day. I wanna know more. I wanna help you guys out. If you guys have any PC issues of your own PC, let us know. I'm gonna try to help you out as best as I can. I know it's a lot of screws, so if you guys have any questions, you know, this is my favorite time to answer.
People are saying their day's going well.
Sorry?
People are saying their day's going well.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, today's Saturday, so I hope you have the weekend off and you're not at work and you can enjoy. So this can also come here. Technically, you can make it really nice if you want to. You see, you have all these here, very nice. But I don't know. I'm gonna route it through the top, so I'm not gonna need this. But this is pretty cool thing about the case. It does have all these, so really nice. Okay, this is on. I'm gonna move the fans out of the way, clear up the table a little bit, just because I like a nice organized workspace. Here is the Lian Li controller. This one. So this is the Lian Li controller. It takes 4. So if you have, you know, you can have up to 3. So 3, 6, 9, 10. You can have quite a few. Let's go ahead and add this in. I will have to turn the PC towards you guys just to show you how that works. So let's go ahead, get this here in the back. I'm going to push the fans towards you guys. Perfect. I don't know, can you see at the top here? I have that wire. Boom, boom. So one hand, you're going to be pulling it. The other hand, you're going to push the fans out. Very nice. All right, fans are now in place. Now we can go ahead and attach the controller. So, cool thing about this, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna plug it into number 2. Little fun fact, unless you read the manual, number 1, especially like for the TL LCD fans, this number 1 is reserved, so go to number 2, 3, 4. It's just a Lian Li thing. So, some people might not know it. USB. So we're going to route this through the bottom here. And then we have ARGB, which Honestly, I'm just gonna daisy chain it to the cooler. That way we're not taking up too many ARGB headers. So that'll go right there. We have the fan, which I think we should have enough headers on the bottom, which we do. Perfect, that's gonna go there. And we have two SATAs. So we should have that here. And it appears I need one more SATA, which will be in our power supply box here. Sometimes people like to put a lot of SATA, but usually I just put as much as I need. This controller hub here, for example, takes two SATAs to power it on. If you're doing like a TL LCD, the wireless fans, those will actually use a 6-pin GPU connector. So I'm going to attach the second one here. And then the end, we're going to route it here, put it in our power supply. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn around the case for a second so I can plug everything in. Okay. Very nice. So here's the fan. This basically, all this does is it allows the controller to connect to the motherboard so you can change the fan speed. If you don't plug this in, the fans are just going to spin at the speed that they want. USB goes into the USB header just like so. And what else? We have, I thought I had the SATA, which is here. So I'm going to connect this one right into the power supply unit. Probably, just need to see a little bit better. Should be a spot right here. Okay, so everything is now connected as best as we can. I see there's one more ARGB header up here, so if you guys remember earlier, we did daisy chain it. So that's gonna go from the top. And let's go ahead and plug that in. How well is the lighting for you guys? Can you guys see everything, or do you want me to bring a flashlight? Alright, so that's the ARGB. And the next thing, we're going to go ahead and try to spin the radiator fans, so those need to be controlled as well. So I have that. That, for example, is good to plug into the CPU fan header. Just because they're the CPU fans, you can also connect them to the jaw fans, but CPU fans usually work great for those fans there. And everything looks great. High power. Everything is connected. Great. So we will be doing a little bit more cable management here. So you can see this one I'm probably going to leave here. Kind of just designing it. This is actually magnetic, but it also comes with a 3M. So for now I'm going to leave it with the magnetic. And I'm just going to do a little bit more cable management, make it look nice and pretty. And then we're going to take off the 3M tape and just stick it onto the case, and it's never going to go anywhere. It's both magnetic and with 3M, so you can rest assured it's going to stay nice and still. So I take these cables. I usually like to pull them down and get that zip tie on there. Now this part, if you really want to make it look super nice, you can wrap that through here. Let's do this one too. You will see me opening and closing these depending on when it's needed. If this one will be nice enough to let me go. Perfect. Okay, that's in. For those of you guys that are not a big fan of cable management, I'm so sorry. The pain will be over soon. We're almost done. Then it's going to be my favorite part, the GPU GPU time. Alright. Cool. So maybe that's a better position for it. Let's go ahead and route this underneath. Give it some more slack. Put one zip tie here. See, if you had already removed the 3M tape from the controller, you wouldn't be able to do all this. You'd kind of be locked into one position. Versus now, I can do my cable management and then lock it in after. Let's go do this. Generally, per build, I like to use, some people do like 4 zip ties, but me, I like to go a little overkill just to make it look nicer. So I'm usually going to use like 14 zip ties per build, if not more. Perfect. So it's not perfect yet, but we're gonna get there. Just you guys wait. Gonna make it look super nice. Let's tie all of these together now. Okay. Very nice. Real quick, before I do my final touches, get rid of all these extra zip ties. We only got a couple more, chat, and then I'm done, I promise. Your favorite part's gonna come soon. The 4080, get that nicely slotted in. We do have these cables, which we could zip tie them, or we can just put them through the ASUS included I guess Velcros. We're just gonna hide them like that. Now we could zip tie them a little bit more if you guys want to do like a super nice job like that. I will say there is some pros and cons of zip tying everything together. The pro is that it looks nice. The con is that if something is not working, ARGB or whatever, you kind of have to take off all the zip ties in order to get to the culprit. But we're going for a clean aesthetic, and I'm building it, so we're not going to have any issues. So we're going to go ahead. Very nice. Cables look good. I'm happy with the cables. So now, a couple more. Whoops. 1, 2. And now we can take off this 3M tape and just find a nice spot, probably here, and hold it for, I don't know, 10 seconds. You want to make sure the 3M tape's really nicely stuck to the case. And that's literally everything for cable management. Everything. Now we can flip the case around and admire the beauty. Chat, I lied. There's the front cables too. Remember what I said. You got to keep it nice in the front. I didn't zip tie the power supply cables yet. See that? Would you guys like to see this in the final build? Probably not. So let's go ahead. 2 zip ties. That's all we need. One here. And another one just to hold everything in place. Right. All right, done. So now is probably a good time to connect your screen, but first, let's clean off the desk a little bit. Let's make everything look nice. One more thing I kind of forgot, but didn't, was in the front, you know the little thing that's holding the fans? You want to just get that secured in. There's 2 screws that come pre-included with it, so just get those in. Just one here, we got one above. Now the fans aren't going anywhere. While you guys are admiring that, I'm going to grab the screen. Now, I think I already mentioned this earlier, but the screen, all it needs to power on, to display everything, display, power on, all that good stuff, USB header. So simple. First we're gonna mount it. We're gonna mount it here just like this. That way when you're looking at it, you can see that beautiful 3D effect. And then with the USB header, go ahead, try to route it through the top here. So that's gonna come up. We're gonna pull it back. Now we're gonna bring it right here. So you see here, little opening. Connect that. Very nice. And obviously once it's all done, I'm gonna do the final peel. I guess all that's really left is the GPU. Shall we get into it, chat? So first we're gonna open up the PCIe slots here. This one might be a little difficult. Just because there is here, this is for vertical mounting if you ever wanted to vertical mount your GPU. But in order to access the slots, I might have to just get rid of that screw. So I have access to it. I'm going to take off these two PCIe slots and dun, 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 the RTX 4080 Super Rock Strix Edition. Super great. Yeah, beautiful GPU too. Looks great. I'm going to put it here behind the Intel box. And there's only one way, actually two ways technically to install a GPU. You can do it vertically like this. Yeah, I know, this is crazy, guys. Yeah, this is going to one of you, okay? So you guys got a really nice PC here. It's like insanely crazy PC. So you can do it vertically. So if you guys wanted in the future to mount it like this, all you would need is a vertical bracket, which you can find on Amazon or wherever. So if you don't like the way that it is currently, you can always do it like that. You can admire the nice red and blue aesthetic of it. But for us, we're gonna do a straight horizontal mount. So first, like I said, it's gonna be a little tough in this case, but we will manage to get it in. First, I'm just going to try to align it, get rid of that cable there. Oh, this is my bad. I could see, you can actually get rid of this vertical mount to make it easier to screw in, which I probably should have seen that first, but that's okay. Every case is different, so when you're building PCs, you encounter something new, boom, remove this, GPU installation simple, we'll add it back on after. And one more PCIe. We're gonna bring this from the 4th position, we're gonna bring it up to the 2nd. This is a dual slot GPU, so we don't need 3 or 4 open. I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. Now we have 2 slots open here. So super easy. Align it first. Once you see that it's pretty well aligned, but now we have another issue. Right here, we have these sag brackets, which are great, but they are a little bit in the way. Go ahead and wondering if you can move it a little bit higher. Nope. Okay, that's fine. There should be a way of moving these, but let me see one more time if the carbon will fit. Looks like it'll fit. you, it's in. No. There we go. Now that it's in, go ahead and just screw it in. Okay, just like so. We're gonna add one more of these to the vertical mount. Again, in case you guys ever want to vertical mount this PC, if you're the winner, very easy to do so, not very challenging. So this is the vertical mount. This will go right back in here. And there is 4 screws. If you can see that, but alrighty, with these. Very awesome. One last cable from the cooler. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I have one cable in here that I just want to route. It's from the cooler. As you guys know, the LCD there took that USB. So that was the only thing we didn't cable manage. Right now I'm just routing them through the ASUS pre-installed, I guess, Velcro straps. And we're done. That's it. That's how you build a PC. Oh wait. There's more. Last thing. 600 watt cable. That'll go here. Please be very careful, especially if you have a very expensive card like this. The cable can only go one way. If it doesn't fit, don't force it. Otherwise, you're gonna bend your pin on the graphics card, and they're not gonna RMA it for you. So don't bend it. Yeah, be careful. Right here, you see these little pins? I don't know if you can see inside of here. There's these little inserts for pins. Very sensitive. Very sensitive. So that's also how you get GPU, burning, cable burning, is when people don't connect it properly. So that's there. You can go ahead and zip tie this. Take 2 zip ties for this one. Just like so. Very nice. Also, I noticed we're up to 100 viewers. Thank you guys, and everyone's still here. 200 viewers? 200 of you guys? Thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. I'm so happy you guys are all here. And one of you guys is gonna win this absolute monster of a gaming PC. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys for watching and tuning in. We're not done just yet, and I still haven't announced how you're gonna win this PC. Only 5-10 more minutes. Hang on with me, okay? We're gonna do one more zip tie, but thank you. I really appreciate you guys watching. It really means a lot to us. So, last zip tie here. Very nice. Do a couple cuts. And guess what? Should we peel it? Should we do the legendary peel? No, I'll bring the mic closer to it so you guys can hear it too. That was nice. That was nice. I always love peeling. Peels, I think everyone likes that. It's everyone's favorite part of building PCs. Wow. It's not even on and it looks beautiful. Should we turn it on? Should we see what it looks like? I think so. I think so. I think we should do it. Put this down. I'm just gonna clean up the table because I want it to look beautiful for when you guys see it all lit up. All right. Let's get this organized. All right. Oh yeah. You can see the front panel. Should we do a countdown? Should we do a countdown timer, chat? Shall we? Should we see a bunch of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 in the chat? Let's do a countdown.
10, 10, 76, 54.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. That's nice. Look at this. You can see the art. Ooh, the Lian fans. Okay. Even if you're not into RGB, you can't tell me this isn't beautiful. If you guys don't like RGB, you can easily control all the lighting through the software. Right now it's doing a couple reboots. So, wow. So yeah, when you build a fresh PC, it is normal. It's cycling right now. We still have to get Windows installed. We're gonna do Windows 11 Pro on this, and it's going home to one of you guys. I'm so, wow. So jealous of whoever wins this PC. It truly is a work of art. I mean, you got the Intel Core Ultra 285K, the Ultra 9, super powerful, top of the line CPU. We got a 4080 Super. Wow. Look at this build. Crazy. And if you see this panorama display, when it's fully on and it has the actual display, see how it kind of shoots out that 3D image at you? I know it's a little hard on stream, but if you watch it in real life, it's super crazy. And I know you guys have seen probably like videos of Japan or in New York City how they have this thing, and you know the image just pops out at you. It's really, really nice. Great RGB on the fans, great Lian fans. Everything is so nice about this PC. All ROG Strix themed. So, you know we didn't skimp out on any parts. We're only rocking the best of the best parts. Intel Core Ultra 9. Super amazing for AI workflows, you know, multitasking, streaming. If you're a high-end gamer streamer, this is definitely the CPU for you. You want to make sure you're using the Ultra 9s. If you're doing more budget, the Ultra 5s are great, the Ultra 7s, but definitely, you know, whoever's going to win this, hopefully they're going to be doing a lot of live streaming, multitasking, gaming, stuff like that, and they can really take advantage of the performance of it. Beautiful system. Let's see. That's about, I think that's almost it. There's only one thing left, is to tell you guys how to win this PC. Are you guys ready for that? Imagine the PC, everything just freezes now, stream crashes. No, I'll let you guys in. I'll let you guys know how to win this bad boy. So, we are gonna be posting a link right now. It's in the chat. We already posted it. You guys can already know how to win this thing. Amazing. Okay, so the link is in the chat. Okay, look in the chat. The link is there. You guys will be able to find out how to win this PC. It's simple. We're doing a Gleam giveaway. Super simple. Intel's gonna be doing it, I think, on their Gleam. So it's in the chat right now. I don't know if you guys can highlight over it. If we highlighted it, you can see Intel Canada. You can win this PC. Enter now via the Gleam link. It's 18 plus. So if you're not 18, get your parents to sign up for you. If you're not in Canada or US, I'm so sorry. We will do more giveaways, but for now, this is a Canada-US exclusive, 18 plus. I hope whoever wins this is gonna love it as much as I love building it. I had a blast building it. I love, I'm so happy that you guys, there's so many viewers, there's so many people watching this. It's incredible. I think this is probably the biggest stream that we've done, by far, the most amount of views. We've had this is 2.5 hour stream, and you guys are still here, which is to me mind-blowing, because you know usually when you'll do a stream people will drop off, so it's so nice to see you guys here. I'm so thankful for everyone, you know, people that have been watching our channel, people that have been, you know, subscribing to us from the past and are coming back. We're all new viewers. We're so thankful for everyone. I'm just speechless. It's crazy to me to just see how many of you guys are here, how many of you guys are super loving this as much as I do. I'm happy I can share my passion of building PCs with you guys. I hope I answered some of questions that you guys had. If not, message us. You know, we have a Discord channel. You can just join in, ask as many questions as you want. Please make sure, if you're here, I want you guys to check out our whole series on Intel Canada's YouTube page. It's coming out soon, so it's not just there yet, but very soon the videos are going to be launched. It's a whole series on how to build PC, you know, PC tips and tricks, everything like that. So if you guys can, do me a favor, go to Intel Canada's YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, and when the videos come out, I'm going to be talking all throughout the videos. I'm going to be hosting the videos. So please show me some love, show me some support, hit the thumbs up button, check the videos out when they come. Is that it?
I think so.
That's
See
almost it.
some last final shots of it.
Yeah.
You guys want to see some last final shots? I'm going to get out of the way, let you guys admire the beauty. I just want to say a last
I
thank
also
you.
wanna see Gabe. Sorry, go on.
They don't see the camera.
I just want to say a quick and final thank you to everybody, okay? All of you guys watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I can't wait to see one lucky guy or gal take this PC home, enjoy it, and thank you. Peace.